I actually said this sentence: I would never join the Army, I would never join the infantry, and I would never jump out of airplanes. And I did all three. I was actually in the Army first. I was a firefighter afterwards. I took the first team to the Pentagon on 9/11, so I was at the Pentagon an hour after the plane hit. And part of the things that we did was secure the Pentagon and then started to aid in remains removal. And when you go into the military as a soldier, like your goal is to be one of those people that responds and helps. And so it's a very surreal feeling being there. After the 9/11 situation, I was angry. I wanted to be part of the fight. And so I volunteered to replace someone that got injured. And I went over to Iraq in 2005 as an individual augmentee to do a replacement. You know, when I got back, I really transitioned poorly. You really don't grasp when you're in it the impact that it's had on you. As you transition out, within about 3 months, you actually start to get hit with that harsh reality. I had went from leading men in combat and feeling like I mattered to now just got fired. And I ended up getting evicted, ended up going through a divorce, wind up homeless, and ultimately bottomed out and attempted suicide and spent 3 days locked in the psych ward. And I knew in that moment, I can't leave. And for me, that was more frightening than anything else. That scared me worse than death. And so for me, that's when I decided that I was going to turn it around and figure out a way to actually transition successfully. I turned to fitness and martial arts. SOLDIERFIT, we're really a functional fitness HIT boot camp gym. The vision is to revitalize the American dream by creating a culture of civic engagement, humility, and unyielding optimism for the future. We got 12 gyms, thousands of members. So, when we started gaining traction with SOLDIERFIT, I really always had this desire to give back. And so we had really started trying to figure out, what do we want to do? What do we want to give back? And if you look at suicide's the 10th leading cause of death in America. Veterans account for 20% of the suicides. It's been said that you can't even make a dent in suicide in this nation unless you address the veteran component. And so since we were visual, I had the idea, well, why don't we create a traveling memorial? And what we did was we created a formation of 22 boots. The 22 signifies that when we first started the organization, veterans were committing suicide at a rate of 22 per day. And we took this everywhere and we set it in front of people, and now people could go, oh my God, this is how many people are committing suicide every day. In the first few years of our organization's existence was bringing awareness to the fact that this was happening. It was the veterans who weren't involved in the VA. They were struggling with their transition and they really didn't know where to go. We said, well, listen, what we need to do then, if this is the case, is there a way for us to improve transition? And we ended up partnering with Goodwill, went out and raised $1 million. It's taken us 5 years, but we're actually opening the first ever Platoon Veteran Services Center. And what's so awesome about this is we're gonna have a place where these men and women can come in, and instead of having to ping pong all through the county, and they'll be able to walk into a place that is focused on, let's transition you back into civil society successfully. At the Transition Center, what we're really going to be focused on doing is helping vets get involved with the VA healthcare system, as well as providing any type of resources that they need to navigate. So there's going to be financial planning, coaching on how to interview. We're going to have resources there for their therapy. And really what will come is they'll come in, they'll get a case manager, and then we'll start carrying them through the process till we make sure that everything that they need is done and checked off for them to have a successful transition back to civil society. I want to use both of these organizations to affect change. And I want SOLDIERFIT to be able to help people get in shape. And then on the platoon side, I want to make a significant dent in veteran suicides, showing other people, man, just because it sucks right now, it's not gonna suck forever. I'm Danny Farrar, CEO and founder of SOLDIERFIT, Executive Director and founder of Platoon 22. I am so pumped to be this week's hometown hero. Go Ravens, beat Panthers!